Truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds, it takes me out of the present. New moon waxing, full moon waning, crescent. Life cycles, teammates or rivals. Soul search dangerous, World War III, the goal's always survival. That's nature, day you're born when you meet your maker. Tears start chasing paper, burning trees or melting glaciers. But truth be told, when I wonder what the future holds, it's impossible to process, so I stay focused on my progress.
Welcome to episode 4 of Triple Captains, the show where you get your banter, fun, strategy, and all things in between. But the most important thing is rivalry. I'm your host, or one of your hosts, should I say, Guffs, and to the left I have Arc, who we'll come to later on, and I have Hardcore Hots. Gents, talk to us. How you feeling? Got these stiff faces, looking vexed.
Have your moment.
Mad game week for me. Still. But, yeah.
Feeling refreshed over there, are you?
I mean,
You know, I saw you on socials talking about drinking Arc's tears.
Mad stuff. My response to that was a bit mad still. It's weird. Weird as fuck, can't lie. Drinking man's anything that's crazy.
I just thought it was right to address some of the stuff that was said in the last episode. Some people who remain nameless were talking about big fat zeros and all that, and yada yada yada. So I just thought it was.
Well, you wasn't a zero, and you're now on a 1. So
I'm not
we're all
anymore.
on 1 now.
Well, yeah. So let's let the people know.
Yeah, we've all had 1 week of getting the most points within a game week, and currently I'm still remaining on top of all of us. So yes, we've all got 1 week of the highest points, and we move on to the next game week.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a bad game week. Yeah. It's been a bad game week as a whole, in my opinion. It's nothing to write home about. It's a low-scoring game week for all of us, but you got the most points, so well done.
Oh, how'd you won by 2 points? You've been chatting a lot of grease, isn't it? But
not really.
Now it's the way around.
Not at the points of.
It's been a bad game week, and
Well, you got 42 points, bro, in the game week, so I've had a bad week. It's 2 points. What did I finish on? 39. So it's a bad game week all around, low scoring.
With a wildcard, I might add. But we'll keep that quiet for now, won't we?
Well, the chips just haven't been working in general, right? Because you started with a bench boost and started last, right?
Well, the bench boost was a mistake. So,
whatever it was, you started with it.
Hardcore Hots went hardcore and.
Yeah, but I'm not saying it was a mistake. I'm making excuses. I've just taken it on the chin and said I'm still above you, so I'll keep it moving. I'm not it was a mistake.
Man got the chair himself. So, So, yeah.
That's cool, isn't it? That's cool. I like that one. That was quite funny.
People, get the... that's what I saw, fam. But anyway,
that's
we'll come to you later on, fam. Yeah.
Right, cool. That's quite funny, anyway, still. That's one of the better jokes.
Oh, yeah. I got lots more, don't worry. We're just getting warmed up.
But anyway,
how are we? How are we? How are we feeling, man? We good?
To be honest, yeah. Not only was it a low-scoring week, but and I did bust a wildcard, so that was a bit shocking because it's my lowest points out of this pre-game week so far. But I'm still a bit pissed with the Arsenal scores. An Arsenal fan, innit? So that's why I'm a bit more chilled out.
Somber.
Yeah, that's how you want to describe it. It's yes, one thing is effing up in the FPL. But then on top, your team dropping the points, one of your main rivals, if not your main rivals, was disappointing too. So,
Well, you kind of sort of led us into our first section. So, it seems like you started talking about Arsenal because that's what we're going to start with first in a round of the week. What was your feelings about, I guess, the game, about the tactics, about where you are with Arsenal, Arteta? Before I get in. Well, there's a lot of questions.
No, I'll answer them. I'm good to go.
I'm curious to sort of see your overview, how you felt about the game, and also how you felt going into the game as well.
we all said that we expected positive swings from that game. So, can't really come out here and say that, I expected us to lose, because I didn't. I saw Liverpool had defensive frailties. I pointed out Van Dijk doesn't look the same. Obviously, Canute can be a liability at times, which is why they were looking at replacing him. They played Szoboszlai at right back. Kirkes doesn't really like anyone attacking at him. So for me, I just assumed that we'd get a few goals and we'd go out there with an attacking mindset. Still playing sensible, and with one of the best defenses in the league, I thought that we'll be content with relying on it a bit.
What did you think when you saw Eze in the bench? Obviously, you brought him in this week in your team, right? So
I was pissed because I just assumed the guy's in the form. He's done well, he's scoring in cups, he's in form. You've brought him in, you've come out in the press, and you've actually said he's come into the team like he's been there for years. So all of this talk, you'd think you're going to start him. So look, I'm going to break it down like this. That was the actual first time for the viewers to know. Since the podcast has started, it was the first time that we had the triple captains in one place watching a game together. And it was, came to a disappointing end. So start off with the team. When I saw the team, in the groups that I'm in, I just said, look, I'm not going to start moaning. I'm not going to say too much. I'm just going to support my team because that's what I'm like. But at the end of it, I will give my true opinion, and I won't, I'm going to support whoever Arteta chooses to put out, but it's on him. I saw Martinelli in the starting lineup, and I thought, okay, so is he going to play in the middle? Then I saw Moreno. When I saw Moreno, Rice, and Zubimendi, I was like, I don't like this three in midfield. That's not what I would have went for, especially if you're going to put Martinelli on the left. For me, Martinelli's got a good record against Liverpool, and he does help out defensively. But if you're going to decide to go with that three in the middle, you've got to play Eze on the left, because we need someone with the creative mind who can link up with Gyökeres. Or we need someone who's going to attack from the middle, even if they're not looking to link up with Gyökeres. So me personally, I would have started Eze as a minimum. That's what I would have done. But if I, for whatever reason, didn't want him to go straight into the team, even though he settled in so seamlessly, I would have went with Ethan. I would have said, you know what? It's a big game to put you in. This could be a risk, but you've put Odegaard on the bench, Eze on the bench. So if it's not working, you can take him off. We can be confident in our defence. Let's see if we put Ethan in, what he can do. Even if he has to come off at half time, at least he got a little start and he can prove himself. But Arteta chose what he chose, and it ended up being a very boring game for me. The second half, I was, thinking, I hope it improves and he makes some early subs, and he decided to hold on. And then Liverpool started to get into the game, in my opinion. Then they made subs, and then they got into the game even more. Scored a great free kick, which I don't think no one can really complain about. But now we're 1-0 down, and we got to get back in the game. And then all of a sudden, I see us trying harder to get a goal. And it's like, if we had set out with that mind frame in the first place, we could have maybe went ahead, then tried to be defensive. And I just think we went in there defensive minded. And I wasn't really impressed with that. And the late subs pissed me off. I can't lie. I was livid. And obviously, because we was together, it was us on the right, and I was sitting next to a Scouser, literally a real Scouser from Liverpool. And we was having banter from the start, but he was a real guy. Do you get me? We both said, let the best team win. And we shook hands at the end of the game. It was civil. It was nice. He was a nice guy, to be fair. But I was pissed. I can't lie, because I really believed that we would go out there, and even if we was to have drawn 0-0, I would have been disappointed in the way we played, but I would have taken it. But the fact that we, dropped those points, I'm pissed. But yeah, go on. That's all I want to say.
I know Arc has a different view, so I'll let him come in a minute. But I agree with mostly what you're saying, really, and I've got a few things on this, right? So the first thing is that he picked the team, right? And as you said, Hot, whatever team he picks, we have to support it, and obviously we want Arsenal to win. And it's one of the situations where I wasn't happy with what I saw in terms of selection, but it's like we'll leave the beef until whistle goes at the end, and if we win the game, then who cares, right? But to me, and this is my personal opinion, it tells a different story. And the story that it tells me is, first and foremost, you don't trust Ethan. That's what you're telling me. Because we've got a kid here who, some of the rumours that come out, and I don't know if they're true or not, was that he was slightly, not wavering, but thinking about his future, wanted some sort of idea whether or not he was going to be playing games. And he's the only person that can come into the team and essentially play the Odegaard role. Really, he's the only sort of similar player in the squad that can fulfill that role. And that was proven because in pre-season, they were alternating between Odegaard and Ethan playing that right-hand side 8 role. So you come into the season now, and Odegaard is not fit to start, fine, and you don't play him. And some of the rest of I'm hearing, some of the stuff I hear is this wasn't a game for him. We needed to have people that were pressing, and we needed people that were physical. Okay, but did Mourinho was he? I didn't see Liverpool under some big pressure in a defensive line. I didn't see us pressing them high. I didn't see some massive difference in terms of the physicality, in terms of a pressing sense from Mourinho that maybe Ethan couldn't do. And even if he did, we've lost something going forward. And the second thing I'll say is there's a pattern forming here with Arteta. The first pattern is he has this sort of little club of players who he trusts. Okay? We've seen for a few years now. He's a group of guys in his squad that he clearly thinks are his main guys. And there are other people in the team who, even last year when Ethan came out of the team after having a nice little spell, he suddenly wasn't getting game time. And I didn't quite understand why. Games in which we were losing against PSG, we needed someone off the bench to give us a spark when we were losing 2 when we needed a goal. You're bringing on defenders, left backs. So he clearly just has this thing where he wants to sort of stand behind his senior players, and he just seems to be reluctant in the big moments to play Ethan. And I really don't understand why. So that's a worrying thing for me. But the biggest worry for me is that Arteta, he just has this way about him where his natural inclination and instinct is to be safe first, is to protect, is to control. That's kind of his initial mindset, is to let's protect, let's be safe, let's just make sure we don't lose, rather than having the mindset of we've got a team here who's slightly wounded, let's go for the jugular, let's go for the throat. And what I want to see from my manager going forward is someone who has a killer instinct, because we're playing against a Liverpool team who are not even clicking to gear yet. They've got Isak now, they've got players coming in, and they're only going to improve and get stronger. And we need to, when we have opportunities like this where we see that they're slightly wounded, we have to go for their throat. And we didn't. So that was really disappointing to see. But the overall grand scheme of things, I don't go on too much. It is just 3 points. It is the third game. It's not the end of the world. The league's not lost. No one's crying or under pressure here, but I just want to see things change going forward. And hopefully as the season unfolds and we get players back, we'll start to sort of see a bit more flair and a bit more attacking intent from Arteta, because for the last 18 months, for me, it's been missing. And when I watch Arsenal, mostly, I've got to be honest, it's a bit boring to watch, to be quite frank with you, watching Arsenal. And there's very few games when I watch Arsenal, we played amazing ball to this game. It doesn't happen that often. So, yeah, that's my view on the game and how I feel about us going forward. But I can see Arc is rocking the itching to talk, so the floor is yours, sir.
I'm not even itching to talk. I'm bored of listening to people like you and other fans that just talk emotion and no objectivity when they assess Arsenal. Like, it's very odd to me. Like, a football game, there's 3 outcomes to it. We can win, we can lose, we could draw. We've got no God-given right to do anything in particular in any game. The game was cagey. It was an old school match, 2 heavyweights fighting. I said previously when we were talking about this that end of the day, it's like a heavyweight match, and there can be a one-touch knockout. It's as simple as that. Unfortunately, it went against us. With regards to some of the things that you've said, it's interesting to me because it errs on the side of a lot of emotion around preferences that you've got for players and so on, and then you bring it back to trying to be objective to say, well, it's only 3 points and it's just the start of the season. Like, I feel like if you are on what you are on, then you should just stand on 10 toes and just be about that. Like, because I don't understand, like, there were about 9 different questions about Arteta and about all of these different things for the game. Like, just assess the game, right? Like, the game was cagey. Like, yes, to some people it was boring. To some people, no, it wasn't. It was good to see the tactical way that both were approached. Like, I think we do some weird kind of injustice to Liverpool as well. Liverpool actually stood on 10 toes on Sunday. Like, they tried to do their thing. But the bottom line is, in reality, both teams, if you actually look into it, neither team created one chance that would be termed as a key chance from an Opta point of view. So there's a lot of negativity around, oh, it was Arsenal this, Arsenal that. Like, we were the away side. Like, we were not the home side. We weren't necessarily in a situation where we weren't in control, etc. Or we looked like we were rocking and we were about to lose 2-0, 3-0, etc. It didn't feel like we was going to concede. Obviously, we did from the free kick. In regards to this trust scenario around Ethan, this is the reason why I'm saying that sometimes I don't think people are watching a game or looking at a game objectively. Like, if you've been watching Ethan, Ethan, there's certain things in his game that are not where they need to be yet. I'm not saying that they won't be. Also, even if he is an understudy for Ødegaard, he plays Ødegaard's role in a different way to Ødegaard. So you have a situation where you weigh up risk and reward and you decide as a manager which you're going to go with. There wasn't anything defensive about the way that we played. Like, we went out and we did what we did. The issue that we had was, realistically, we had threats, we didn't have creation, right? So for me, I've been clear. Like, I don't feel that I feel that he made 2 mistakes. I think that, one, I would have started Eze rather than Martinelli. I think all of the stuff around, he settled in, etc., and so on. He's talking about training. Like, as far as he's concerned, he moves like how Wenger did, where he's a professor and he knows more than anybody else about what they're doing and so on and so forth. Like, you lot will remember when Wenger used to tell a man that he's not fit, even though the guy was fit. Like, it's just the way that certain managers move. And like, I think a lot of Arsenal fans have just moved into this world where they have this inferiority complex. And I actually think that it's the Arsenal fans that are scared, always ready to jump on the side of, oh my gosh, look, the team's done this, it should have done this and we didn't, and so on. Like, end of the day, like, you can lose a football match. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, you man know, when we talk in groups or whatever, not, I always talk about you lot having cherophoba issues, right? Like, it's like you're scared of joy, and because of that, anytime anything happens that doesn't go right, it's like you jump on it and you hug it, and it's like you're in love with the idea that, oh, it's all gone wrong, and I get to say it's like attention seeking to me, because to me, you can't watch that game and be upset with Arsenal. Like, because if you're upset with Arsenal, then why are you not upset with Liverpool? Like, they scored a free kick. Like, the way that you talking, like, they was in the ascendancy, they were doing this. Like, what struggles were we having? Like, there was a 10 to 15 minute period where Liverpool looked like they were getting the better of our midfield. Like, that was it. Like, so yes, it's disappointing that we lost. Very disappointing that we lost. especially after the good work that we've been doing over the past couple of years in these kind of games. But miss me with the rhetoric of, oh, everything was negative and it was this and it was that. Like, end of the day, like, two Bohemians came up against each other. Like, it becomes a tight game at that point. Like, yes, mistakes were made. Like, subs should have been made earlier. When Liverpool made their sub, we should have subbed done within 5 minutes of that. There were different players that were playing for us at the time where you could see actually they were starting to wane. Like, he should have responded to that. So that's an in-game management thing that he needs to deal with. Like, with regards to, oh, he doesn't trust players, he doesn't do this. Like, he's just bought 8 players. He's not going to be able to not use those players. So we will see during the season. Reality also is, like, many of the players that we would be trying to sync up and so on, they weren't there on Sunday. So we'll see what happens over the season. Like, for me, I said before the game that playing Liverpool third game in is early for both teams. Like, so, and as you know, I've been talking about the fact that it's going to take probably until the 10th game for us to see the real Arsenal. Because I think there's still a lot of things that need to be done in order for us to really be fluid and get to where we need to be. So that's my assessment on it.
You know, that's a fair assessment in the end part anyway. That it's going to take time for all of our team to gel. But, you know, Eze came on, and yeah, at the end, he messed up a chance where he could have scored potentially. But you saw the immediate difference with him on the pitch going past.
100%.
For me, it's like, we can't afford to drop points early, and we have now. So my annoyance isn't that, okay, you picked the team you wanted to pick, but it didn't work. Regardless if it was a great free kick or anything like that, we're now 3 points behind Liverpool, and we've got 3 games coming up with Forest, City, and Newcastle, and we can't drop more points again. And I can't say we're definitely not going to, but the fact is Liverpool's got the 3 points and they're ahead of us now, and it's now an uphill struggle, because if we drop more, if we draw off any of those teams now, we're just letting the gap get created from early, and that's my issue with it. And also,
so I don't disagree with that. Like, sorry, and it's not sorry.
No,
go
it's
ahead,
cool, because I'm surprised we all let each other speak for this long, and we all got to get our little saying, because that's not usually like this. So we've been very professional, so we can give ourselves a tap on the back on that one. But like, yeah, no,
little fingernail clap.
Back to normal now, to get me. But all jokes aside, it's like, no, we're all gonna have the one thing everyone's gonna see is where all 3 Arsenal fans who want Arsenal to win, but we're all gonna be us and have our own opinions on it. And sometimes it won't be as peaceful as it is right now. Sometimes you're gonna see us clash when we're talking about our opinions. But I think, you know, you've had a few days to accept and sort of just know it is what it is now. But
I don't have any inferiority complex as it pertains to Liverpool or any other team. You know, I take every game on its own merits. Usually when we go to Anfield, in years gone by, when we go into Anfield, I've always had that sort of feeling of like, it's Anfield. Like, you know what that stadium's like. You know what it can do in that pitch, right? History hasn't been in our favour on that pitch for many, many years. But this particular game, you know, and I think if you spoke to Liverpool fans as well, they would have probably said to you, hang on, this one, not sure about this game. Because they understood that going into the game, they wasn't where they needed to be. So I just feel like, you know, you're right. We don't have a God-given right to win any game. And I completely accept that. But we have the players in our squad now. You know, we have options, much better offensive options than Mourinho in the squad. They could have played that game.
Yeah, not so you can't play a guy that can't do any kind of defending, like that leaves us loose. The way that Arsenal play, they're very specific. Like, the reason Odegaard is in the team so much is because of the role he plays with the pressing. Now, I agree with you that the pressing wasn't as up to speed as it needed to be. So there are lots of instances where you see that Mourinho does press, Marino, sorry. He does press, but like he's just not that. He's not as snappy as Ødegaard would be. So, for instance, when he does it, like you'll notice also if you look back at the game, often Van Dijk actually gets to disguise his passes and so on because he doesn't have that snap of press. So in previous games when we're watching, like you'll notice Ødegaard is on him quick, right? So he doesn't have the time to pick out the raking passes or the line breaking passes or whatever, not, which he did start to do at points in the game on Sunday, which was frustrating.
At the end of the day, Ethan's in the squad to play. He's in the squad. So he's got a squad number. Play the boy, man. And I don't understand why we're so fearful of unleashing this kid. What are we worried about? Last season, he came into the team and he didn't let us down. He played on the right-hand side and he was generally in those games one of our better players. So I don't understand his fear. Even in pre-season, when he played in pre-season, he was one of our better players. He shined, he was a threat. What is this fear? Just play the kid. And, you know...
Why do you feel it's a fear?
About our defensive... Well, why is he not playing him? I don't understand why we're not playing him. Because...
Because there are certain things that he's looking for out of him that he's not getting. So, but he didn't take him out, was he? He's injured, so he's trying to accommodate for it.
But if Ødegaard was fit, he would have played, right? He would have played, right? If he was fit. Yeah.
Right.
So if Ødegaard was fit, he plays. You don't play Marino. So Ethan is the person who is most like Ødegaard in terms of what he offers offensively. But you chose to go the other way and chose to bring in someone into the team who most resembles Ødegaard defensively. So you are showing me that you're leaning into your defensive mindset. So that's fine, okay? No one's saying that you
control.
Right. No one's saying
isn't going to provide control.
The same way you tell me to stand on my 10 toes, Arteta also has to stand on his 10 toes. You chose to adopt.
He chose continuity over hope.
No, he chose control and to slow the tempo down. And to
which is continuity of the way that Arsenal play.
And he lost, okay? And
that's great. Like you can say that, but if you've got principles, then you have to stand on them.
That's fine.
Right? You can't just decide. Okay, like
and that is
I
fine.
Play this boy because Guffs thinks
I get that. No. That's fine. He's a manager. Okay, we're fans, right? You're the manager. You get to choose. That's fine. But as a fan, I have my opinion, and I'm entitled to say, listen. I don't think the balance of the team was right. I think it was too veer towards being defensive, rather than having that balance of having that sort of equal amount of attacking threat as defensive stability. I don't think you get the balance right.
It would make sense if we were in a low block all of the game. But we weren't in a low block all of the game, so it wasn't defensive.
But this is the thing. Listen, this is my biggest problem. You have Gyökeres on the pitch, okay? You've gone out and you've bought Gyökeres, okay? Hots has seen him. I've seen him.
But so to interject, I'm just asking, are you not able to just deal with the fact that we didn't play a low block? So what was defensive?
I have mentioned low block. I've not mentioned low
No,
block.
I did. I said to you, you said we played defensively. That's telling you we're playing defensive. And I'm asking
I'm saying,
how did we play defensive?
When you choose, no, I didn't say that. I said to you that when you choose to play Marino and you don't play Ethan, you are choosing to have a more defensive shape rather than trying to be more offensive. Okay? Because if you're playing Marino instead of Ethan, you're telling me that you want more stability in your defensive shape. You're not thinking about going forward. Because if you're thinking about hurt in Liverpool, you're going to play Ethan. Because Ethan is by far a more offensive threat than Marino.
Or you play Eze.
You play Eze.
Let me
so
that's the point, right?
So let me just, as you're mentioning this about Gyökeres, I wanted to interject earlier, but you see Gyökeres making these runs and no one is really finding him. And then you've got Martinelli on the left and he's running at full pelt towards their goal. And Gyökeres is like, put me through. Let me re-angle it this way. Put me through. And then you've just got Martinelli looking down and running. And it's just like, I would have taken him off at half time. And I don't dislike Martinelli, but he's annoying me of late towards the end of last season too. Like, if man can't look up and then you haven't got creative or attacking players, then you're not gonna penetrate their defense much. And that's why Madawaku, funny enough, was our best attacking player for me, because
What
at
kind of
least he
mad
was running at.
pronunciation is that, bro?
I know.
I don't even care. Yeah, I don't know.
Because I was all
I
gonna
don't
pull
know.
you up why you keep calling
It's
my
a-
man Canute as well.
Well,
Spurs
I don't
man-
even
Spurs
know
man.
about these guys. Is that what I called him? Well, who cares? I don't care about these, man. I only care about Arsenal, innit? But I even forgot who it was that I was even fucking talking about.
Martinelli.
No,
No.
you said that Madueke,
Kirkers.
he was doing
Like,
his thing on his side.
No,
Like,
Madueke
Yeah.
was rinsing Kirkers on the side. You see, even let me hold it down because I was gonna start saying too much. But yeah, I don't care about these guys' names. But like, the bottom line is, he was our best attacking player, and literally for me, I didn't feel like we attacked well. I didn't see what you're saying in the sense that we've got the ball, we had the control. I didn't see much attack from us. We had a couple chances that were like maybe we could have done something, but deep down, when Liverpool got into their drive in the second half, I felt a goal was coming. I even said to the scouser that was next to me, I said, I'm not feeling this. I can sense a goal, if I'm honest. And he was winding me up. So like, literally, apart from if you're not trying, what I could see is I could see a goal. But obviously it didn't come apart from that free kick. But once they got the free kick, I felt like they were content now because they got a goal. And now it's up to us to get a goal. And that was the turning point. But I'm not going to go on and on. I'm still agitated, I can't lie, but I'm over it.
The Brighton game. I don't know how much you saw the game, but Brighton, Man City. I don't know what's going on with them. Obviously, we spoke in the first game week and we spoke about them winning 4-0 at Wolves, and I was kind of hyping them a little bit and saying they looked good and blah, blah, blah. And then obviously they had the wake-up call against Spurs. But watching this game against Brighton, particularly the second half, I mean, from a Man City perspective, it's worrying. Their defence was just getting caught time and time and time and time again. And they literally had no answer. And for a manager who I rate highly and regard him as being probably one of the best managers of all time in Pep Guardiola, when you're consistently getting caught behind with one ball over the top and you're not making adjustments, was just crazy for me to see, because I'm thinking, you're Pep Guardiola. You can see what I'm seeing here, bruv. Why are you making adjustments here? And then I looked at the team and I thought, actually, you got a goalkeeper who can shot stop, but he can't kick out from the back. You got Ait Nouri, who came from Wolves, who is good going forward, but I've never rated him defensively. You know, you've got this guy from Russia, Kusanov, whatever his name is, who is coming and made mistake after mistake. You know, you've got a fullback in
it was nice knowing you,
Nunes.
Guffs. When KGB comes to take you out for the mispronunciations there.
Listen, you got Nunes, who I never liked him at right back. He was DM for Wolves, and they're trying to force him at right back.
Sure.
And he's just, he gave away the penalty as well with the handball. And I look at the defence, I'm thinking, this isn't a Man City defence that I've seen in years gone by that win titles. It was a complete
But did
mess.
they have injuries?
Well, the bench had Diaz. The bench had Stones. They sold a Kanji. They had Rico Lewis on the bench. So they had guys on the bench who could come on and could play for them. But
Yeah, but they're a bit meaty though.
this is what I'm saying. The defence as a squad is very meaty. And he
Well,
spent
they
all this
brought the wrong
money on
players, though.
Cherky, on Reinders, and all these guys, but hasn't addressed the defence. And I think that
Well, let me just drop this quickly. Yeah, you've got Edison and the goalkeeper that left. I can't remember what his name was, but then you've gone on and brought back Trafford. So you let Trafford go, and you've now said, I'm going to trigger the clause that we've got in his contract to bring him back to the club. So that's a pet choice as far as I'm concerned. You must have wanted to bring him back. So you can't bring him back.
Well, he's got
and
the
then
right
feel like-
passport, right?
Well, it could be. It could be something to do with that. God knows. But you've gone out and got another goalkeeper now. So obviously we haven't brought him back to be a number one in my opinion. So, and he's been starting, so could be one of the things that is impacting their defense. But you know what? I rate Pep.
I think Donnarumma is going to give them the same problems that Trafford is in terms of them playing out from the back. Donnarumma is not good with his feet.
Possibly. He's not great. You know what? I'm not going to lie. This is going to sound so mad, but you know what I'm like, innit? But I like Pep. But I'm tired of seeing him play with his fucking spit. Swear to swear, yeah. But that thing he does annoys me. So like, I don't care if he's gone at the end of the season because I hate seeing that. It's nasty. It gets on my nerves. Don't know if you man know what I'm talking about, but I know some of the viewers will. When he just keeps on doing that same thing, that's annoying now. And like, the more stress he's getting when he's losing, he's doing it even more. I just want to punch my screen sometimes. It's just nasty.
Oh.
But like, anyway.
You know what? I just hope he doesn't start scratching himself again.
Madman. But yeah, look, City don't look good. They don't look good at all. But let's see what happens after the.
But what do you think the root of all of that is, though?
People are going to say they're FA problems that have just been sitting in the back and the top shelf for ages and no repercussions. But I don't know.
I think, and I think we spoke about this offline, me and you, but like, I think that as great of a manager that Pep is, and he's an all-timer, we can never say anything other than that, right? Like he's a bad boy. So let's be clear about that. Sometimes like there are players on the pitch that are like Rolls Royce players, but in order for them to be playing like a Rolls Royce, they need the parts around them. Well, he's like the manager version of that. He needs to have the right pieces in his team to make him as great as he needs to be. And it's not taking anything away from his greatness, right? But you're seeing that he's trying to play this same brand of football, the same control, everyone can play with their feet and stuff, with players who just can't play that way. And what we're finding situations now in games where Trafford's been asked to do things that he just can't do, and they're getting themselves in problems. And the league is now caught up with them now. Liverpool caught up, Arsenal caught up. And I think there's also another bit where I think that maybe we're just seeing the end of the Pep Guardiola cycle. And it happens to all managers, right? All great managers, it comes a point where people work out how you're trying to play. They work out all your little tricks and your methods. And the game evolves and goes a different way. And I think maybe we're now seeing maybe the end of his cycle. I think he still could be successful and still win trophies here and there. A bit like Mourinho, when Mourinho was fading, he was still picking up an FA Cup here or a UEFA Cup here.
No, don't do him like that. I agree with you that he's being found out, but I think he's being found out for a different reason to what you're saying. Like, we've all been used to City's style for a number of years and still haven't been able to combat it, right? It's like when Robin used to play and you know he's going to cut in, but you can't stop it, right? But I think that the reason why we're seeing issues with City at the moment are this is the first time that Pep has had to rebuild a team. Like, you got to remember that everywhere he's gone, he's inherited heavyweight players and he's just built on top of that. Right? But now this is the first time that he's actually seen a squad through all the way to its decline and he's got to start again. And also, it's a bit odd to me, he's got that number 2 that was Klopp's number 2. And it's almost like he's trying to half play like how Liverpool used to play and sprinkle in the way that he plays at the moment. But like I say, I'll come back to it that I think he's generally being found out now because he's got to build from scratch himself. And the problem that you've got with building from scratch is that, as you've already touched on, he needs high IQ players. He can't have a player that's not high IQ. And he's used to just being able to bin a player and get somebody else in. But when you've got that situation when the baseline isn't as high as it was before, then you have a problem. Like, even seeing what he did towards the end of the transfer window, like, he binned a bag of players again. Like, and in the areas that we're talking about, where we're saying defensively, like, what's the issue? So on Sunday, did Ake play? No. Or is he injured too?
Who even cares about Man City not any more than what we've said? They've lost again. And but no, you know what it is? I understand us staying on Arsenal for long because it's Arsenal, we're all Arsenal fans. But Arsenal lost, City lost, and it doesn't look good for City right now.
Okay, so who would you like to speak about, Hots?
So let's just go through the rest of the teams because we've got a lot to talk about. Still, this transfer window has been mental.
I mean, the other game that was
who's
quite
next?
shocking was like Forest v West Ham. I guess the story of this game for me was just more to do with, is this whole Nunes and Macarecas, is that his name? Macarecas, am I saying it right? Feud, is it now sort of starting to spin onto the pitch? Because, I watched parts of this game and, okay, West Ham scored their first goal in the 80-odd minute, but they were in control of the game for much of the game, and Forest were really poor. Good result for Potter. He needed that. I think he was on his last legs, and I think this could be a turning point for him. Your boy, who you were talking about last week, Arc, got benched.
Yeah. Man like Baron Samidi.
Man like Baron.
I'm sure Potter is a subscriber. He listened.
But do you know what? Yeah, that game for me was crazy because Nottingham Forest, I think their defence was, it was pretty good last season, and they've not got one clean sheet so far this season. And I really believed in them having a clean sheet. I thought attackingly they might not be too great, but defensively they'll be strong. And they've not got a clean sheet. And West Ham game, I expected a clean sheet, but actually that's a lie. I thought they could concede a goal, but I thought they would go into that actually beat West Ham convincingly. Hence, I captured Wood. And to see West Ham just bounce back all of a sudden against them, it's given me a different viewpoint on Nottingham Forest's potential for going forward for the rest of the season, and especially with the manager stuff going on. Is it affecting the team? What is really happening? So that's going to be another interesting because we play Forest next. So
we do.
What's going to happen there?
The other game on Sunday was a late game. Obviously, we were kind of half watching this as we were eating food and stuff and enjoying the game. And I had a keen eye in this game because I had 3 assets from Villa in my team. But I don't know what's going on with Aston Villa right now. I mean, from an FPL standpoint, I think we've got to touch on FPL, right? Because it's really about that. Are you concerned about Aston Villa and your assets you hold? Because obviously you had this big stat attack last week on Ollie Watkins. We both currently hold him, right? And I've got to be honest, I'm starting to worry about him because something's not right at Aston Villa. They're not creating the chances that they were last year. And maybe they're getting found out. Maybe we're starting to sort of see this sort of beginning of the end for the coach. I don't know, but it just doesn't feel right there. What's your take?
It's quite an odd one. Like, he kind of just continued doing what I talked about last week, right? So remember I was saying that last season Aston Villa did this. They went through periods where they were just down and then they bounced and so on. I think the problem that you've got is they've obviously made some signings in the transfer window, and it's to understand what's the effect of those signings going to be on people like Ollie Watkins and others that are in the team. But you can't not be worried. Like, you can say that, yeah, you're comfortable to hold and some, but you can't not be worried. Like, because ultimately the data as well is starting to veer. It's starting to say, well, actually, they're struggling to create. And if he doesn't have the volume, I think a couple of people have touched on it before. Like, Ollie Watkins, yes, he scores goals or whatever not, but he does need a volume of chances. Like, he's not that guy that will give you 1 in 2 or 1 in 3. Like, so those things, they don't point towards any easing of the pain over the next couple of weeks, even though I've already said that their fixtures are favourable outside of the Everton one that is coming up for next game week. Is it next game week, or they've got it within the next couple of weeks, I think? Yeah,
next game is against Everton.
So, yeah.
So when Conser got a red card for me, and I looked at Villa, I weren't really feeling them. That's why I didn't start with none of their attackers. That was just a gut feeling. But when Conser got the red card the first game of the season, I just got him out of there straight away. I hope that I was right. And so far I have been. I just don't know what I'm not saying they can't get it together, because I think Emery is a decent manager. But
Shout
just
out
don't
to
know
man
what I think
Count
about
Dooku. Did you see his interview?
No, I didn't know. I've
When
not
they
really
asked
seen
him
much
about
football this
Martinez.
weekend. No, what did
When
he
they asked
say?
him about
Or
Martinez,
was it
my
not?
man just responded with the name of the new keeper. No, he just responded with the name of the new keeper. And they asked him again and he just said the same thing. And then he actually told
Didn't he sign a
the
new
journalist
contract?
that, boy, you're out of time. Like, move on. Yeah, well, yeah. That'll be interesting. Like, imagine you cried all summer saying your goodbyes and then you're started again. It's his birthday today or yesterday as well.
Martinez thought he was going to some big
Since he left
move.
Arsenal, I don't care about that guy at all.
He
He's
thought he
done
was
his
going
thing.
some like
Yep,
next
right.
pass was new.
Thank you very much. You know how I feel about ex-players that play in the league.
Saturday, the biggest game, biggest sort of result, I guess, was the Man United Burnley game. I brought in Fernandes, got
that a
him the
big game?
points. Well, I think it was big in terms of like Man United needed a win, right? And I think had they not got a win, then I think the intensity behind Amorim would have been huge, right? And I think that he might have gone.
Sorry,
So-
Hots, did you just say, was it a big game? Did you not see Bruno celebrating afterwards?
Well, he said it's a big game, so I said, was it? I don't.
That was a big game, my friend.
Yeah, but
Yeah, it was a
because he
big
missed
game
a
for
penalty
them.
And he scored one. But like, yeah,
It's a
You know what it
6-pointer.
is? Last week he was crying because last week he was crying, and then this week he's going mad because he's got a pen. Like, I like Bruno. I don't even think he's a bad player, and I said that last week. Last week his reaction was just a bit weak, and this week
No, but he's tapped. I agree with you. Did you see that he? I think he done some defensive move or something against Burnley, and like the player was running back, and basically he then stood in front of him. So the player can't move, so he's had to like run past him and like brush his shoulder. My man turned around like he was on war, like he'd just been slapped or something. Like, Bruno's definitely tapped. Something's wrong with him.
See what I haven't. If I'm being super real, I've not seen much of the games this week. Even after the Arsenal game, when you might have been glimpsing at the Palace game, I lost interest. But like, I'm usually I'd
He's
always go back
enjoying
to
your
see the
steak,
goals,
that's
see
why.
everything. But I mean, in general, I would usually go and check the goals and do all of that. But I obviously had to drown my sorrows with some good food and a little sip. You get me?
Yeah.
I don't want any excuses, bro. Right? When you're getting licked up in
Excuses
FPL, I don't want to hear. Oh, I didn't see the game, so.
No, I didn't get licked up in FPL.
No, I'm just
I didn't
saying.
get
Like,
licked up in
I'm just reminding
So
you.
when that bridge comes, if it comes, I'll cross it. But I didn't get licked up in FPL. Like, you got.
You did, but luckily,
And I said, well done. No, I didn't. If I got
39 points was
down in the league
otherwise.
to see you. Yeah, but if I was got licked down and in regards to you, I wouldn't be looking down in the league to see you, would I? So as far as I'm concerned, well done that you got your first highest points of the week at the three of us. I'm still above you, so don't get too gassed. But well done. I got my lowest points, and it was good. My bench had that 20 plus points in it, but it is what it is, you know.
It is what it is, indeed. But
Bro, do you know what position you are in our league? Because you're too gassed for being somewhere in the
I'm not gassed at
40th
all.
position or something.
I'm not gassed
Okay.
at all. I'm not gassed at all.
Make sure you know where you are.
I'm simply just making you aware, you know, that I don't want to hear any excuses later on in the season. I want to hear I didn't watch no games.
But I don't make
So,
excuses. I
just-
haven't. So
good.
far, so.
Good. Just,
Oh, it was
Everyone's-
a mistake. My bench boost was a mistake. The only one that
just
makes
so we're
excuses
all
is you,
clear,
bro.
viewers.
Who's made
and
excuses so far out of the three of us?
I'm just.
No, but who's
just-
made excuses out of the three of us so far?
I
My
just
bench
state-
boost was a mistake.
I just state facts, my friend. No excuses, facts. You know, we move on.
Cool.
Spurs.
Yes.
They were the other team that got a
Another
shock
surprise.
result. You know, they lost 1-0. I know you brought in Kudus in your team, Hots. So
Yep, I did.
yeah, and you got a few.
So
You got 2 or 3 Spurs men in your team. 3.
so I started with Poro.
Blimey.
Kudo.
Guffs
Man
is
comes
just
up, you know.
randomly just watching your team, you know.
You know what I mean?
You're staying true to what you said last week still. You said you look at teams that are above you.
You see it there. But yeah, so I brought in Kudos. He hasn't got a goal yet this season. He's got a couple of assists. He's looked okay, and I thought that Spurs have been looking okay, but Bournemouth they've been doing their thing too, but they've lost to Liverpool, but they look good in the games, and they just came through and just said look, we lost to Liverpool, but we are in this. We're not just gonna just be like walked over by every team that we play. And they were very good in that game. I didn't see everything, but from what I saw, I was like, one Bournemouth. But I don't dislike them, and I don't dislike their manager. But I believe Kudos will come. Like I think it's due a goal. Spurs have a decent run. Like, look, I made my wildcard choice, and I put 2 people on the bench who have done well. I was thinking, if you're doing a wildcard, it can't just be about game week 3. So I'm not too disappointed with the players I put in, but I'm disappointed with what I achieved in game week 3. So, there's no doubt in that. But,
Ark, where are you with Spurs assets? Like, obviously, you're the stat man, right? So
yeah, he's got a few as well. He's got a few.
Are you kind of still confident about the assets, or like neutral, or where do you sit?
I don't think there's anything to really worry about them. I'm not with Middlesex. I saw that this season they can't be as bad as they were last. I think that Frank is a good manager, so I think they're going to win a lot more than they lose. Some of the assets that I've got, I'm comfortable with the goalkeeper. I'm not necessarily comfortable with Spence once Udogie comes back and so on. I think that they will look to play in a different way. But like most teams, they've made some additions as well. Right, so it will be about trying to work out what the effect of all of that is.
So the other game, of course, was Wolves, Everton, right? Jack's back.
Look, we're talking about City and how they're moving. And Jack couldn't get into the City squad. And obviously, there were some issues there with him since his celebrations. But he seems to be in good form, 4 assists, looking strong. And Everton,
he only got 2 in the whole of last season.
That's mental, isn't it?
He hardly played today, but yeah.
Well, he's hardly played now. Yeah.
Yeah, true.
I'm not. It's not like I've got a personal relationship with him, obviously, but I'm happy for him. Like, he's gone to City, big transfer fee, and it's not worked out.
Is he someone you're looking at in terms of bringing into your team, or are you still not kind of sold on him yet?
Well, as you know, I've just done a wildcard, right, and he was a part of it. So I'm not gonna lie. It's not like I wouldn't do a quick minus straight after. I've got it in me. But right now, there's been so much movement in this transfer window that I'm just observing. You know what I mean? I'm just watching what's going on in this international break. And what this first 3 game weeks have shown me is that do we even really, really know what's really, really good? So it's like, I'm just cool now.
The last game, of course, was Sunderland v Brentford on the Saturday, that is.
It's the team that I liked, and I mentioned, and I started 3 of them in my team. They're doing okay, man. They're doing okay. I don't know if they can keep it up. 2
big wins at home, and they need to win at home. That's going to be where they're going to get their bread and butter, right? Because I think they're going to get some hard.
The teams coming up need to win their home games. But let me point out one thing since you mentioned my wildcard. Yeah, like I know we're going to talk later about teams, but I clocked Dingo didn't start in this game. So like, even though my team didn't work out the way I wanted it to, it was shocking to me that he decided to bench him in that game because obviously he's one of their better midfielders. So it's like I looked at certain things and thought, wow, like it's mad that managers at all levels are willing to do squad rotation this early, and it's gonna be such an interesting season, this one. But yeah, I just wanted to add that in there because that's what I think about Sunderland, because I really believe that they will do okay, and they, as you said, they've got 2 home wins.
And I mean, there's not much to say about this game. 0-0, Leeds, Newcastle. But obviously, the issues for Newcastle were clear, right? They couldn't score goals, had no forwards. They've obviously uploaded their forwards now, so you would think going forward that they're going to be more potent. Is it right to look at Newcastle assets now, or are we still a bit like not quite sure about them? What's your feeling towards Newcastle?
I said last week if they bought Wissa, he'd go straight into my team. Now I've got to work out how to juggle it. But yeah, he'll be coming into my team.
Is he going to be in your team for Game Week 4 then? Okay, good.
All right, we'll see. We'll see.
He'll be in my team. Whether I can get him in for Game Week 4, I don't know.
The last game, which was probably the most controversial game, right?
Looks like you need to work for Uncle Rupert. Varsicle, yeah?
Listen, I mean, Hearts. I mean, again, we spoke about this before, but where do you lie on VAR and kind of, what's your opinion about the whole sort of issue VAR? Are you one of these guys that's saying VAR out? I mean, where's your head at?
Well, this week I couldn't really find a donut of the week. Not, you can always find one, but I felt that there was nothing worse than the VAR decision, and VAR has been consistent in the errors that they're making. But this week, you've got, how can you have someone who's 18, gets his first Premier League goal, and then you go all the way back to the other side of the pitch where someone does a skill, 360 or Maradona, whatever you want to call it, he's mid-spin, and then the opposition puts their foot under you, and you put your foot down, and then they say that's foul play. It doesn't make sense to me. There's no way that's a foul, and you've given Chelsea a lifeline, and you've taken an 18-year-old's first Premier League goal away from him, and it was a great goal as well. I feel so sorry for the little king. What's his name? Josh. I felt sorry for him. And the thing is, you could see it from the beginning. So when VAR steps in and it's like, okay, let's look at this, you get to rewind that video, that tape, as many times as you want. So how you come to that conclusion at the end of it, to me, is nuts. And that's just one other thing that's happened so far this season. And, like I said, the games, there's a few players that, didn't do what they were meant to have done. And, like I said, for our own team, Martinelli was just running with his head down, not looking up. But when I was thinking of donut of the week, I thought VAR had to get a mention in it because, as you said, it's farcical.
Do you know my thing with VAR, yeah? My thing with VAR is this, like, the tech isn't the problem for me, right? I think that we got to kind of like be clear about what the issues are, right? And I think people kind of get, VAR is crap. It's not VAR, right? It's the human element that is the problem behind this technology that we have. And we've got to make a decision about how we're using this tech because we're not coming to the right conclusions. And some of these decisions that we made right now are obvious decisions. And the biggest thing for me watching the football game right now is what we're losing that kind of raw passion that fans have when a goal goes in. I'm now seeing fans around the country when a goal goes in, they don't want to celebrate because is it offside? Is there a foul? It's just a really sort of sad state of affairs that we're in right now, and I think we've got to sort of look into this and find ways in which we can maybe just tweak how it's used. And my second thing, before I let Art come in, is we got to find a way to change the language behind the communication from Stockley Park to the referee on the pitch. Because when I see the VAR come in, you already know that the referee is going to go with VAR. And what I want to see is I want there to be a bit more of a softer language used to give him the space and ability to say, you know what, no, I'm fine with my decision and we're going to move forward. I don't want people...
So just before Art comes in, as you said that you want to see that happen. But this actual referee at the same ground did this before, where he said, no, my decision is the right decision and I'm standing on it. And I would have liked to have seen him do it this game too. It's a shame he didn't. and I don't know why he didn't. But like, there's definitely something that needs to be done, because otherwise, there's no point for VAR. If it's going to keep on doing these type of decisions, then we have to go back to how it was with just a referee. I'm not saying there doesn't need to be some things, but what is the point of VAR if you're coming in and you're making the wrong decisions anyway? But yeah, go on, Arc, because obviously he was going over to you.
No, I'd agree with both of you. I think that from my perspective, any system that involves human interaction is subject to failure, right? So I would just limit the amount of VAR involvement. So technology for me in football would only be semi-automated, or for things that are absolutely 100% binary. So we know, we can tell where the lines are on the pitch, so we can give you an idea of whether you're offside or not. We know if it's gone over the goal line. We know if it's gone out for a throw-in, etc. And I think that's the only thing you need to do. Like, let the ref do the rest. Like, yes, there will be wrong decisions, but there are wrong decisions at the moment. Like, we haven't got... I'd love to see the statistics on it, on whether we now have more correct decisions than we did previously. Right? Because I generally am just in the space of, like, it bores me to death. Like,
maybe that's one for the Statman to find out for us.
Yeah, maybe indeed.
Well, speaking of Statman, you got some new findings this game week, or headed the next game week, I guess. So let's have a little look at what Statman Arc says for this game week. Listen up.
No days off, no days off, no days off, no days off.
Did you ever hear the story about Leon? I said Leon, they said Leon. He was from the flats that the jack kids be on. Before the cats they had, they cracked a fiend on. They say on the street he a fiend on. When he squeezed on, it's phenomenal. Make a change off a name like a hitman, and we'll hitman if it's reasonable. Then you'll have
The window is now closed, all squads are locked, and this is where the excuses end. Transfers reshape your clubs, but more importantly, they rewrite FPL dynamics. Liverpool's 125 million gamble on Isak? Well, at least the chaos is gone with Darwin. And what does this actually mean? Well, for one thing, their supply lines now bend to a finisher who thrives on volume. Harvey Elliott, he moved to West Midlands Village. Does that finally unleash Rodgers to be the foe Watkins has begged for? The Arsenal's coup for Eze, concussive creativity, maybe the missing link. And the differentials. What falls out from that? Did somebody whisper California? Even the mid-table outfits, Man Reds, Merseyside Blues, Hounslow, their tweaks change pens, set pieces, and who's nailed. That's not trivia. That's rank defining. Now the noise dies. No more speculation, no more waiting. Every player earns their place through output, which means we've got to spot the hierarchy before the herd. Forget chasing last week's points. From game week 4, it's about the winners of the window. Who gains from Isak's arrival? Who loses out to Eze? Which set piece taker just became irrelevant? That's where the ground is won. So don't play safe, play smart. This is a reset disguised as continuity. New squads mean new numbers, new roles, new opportunities. The window is now closed, but the game just opened up. Data will be sharp from here on in, and the narrative even sharper. Statman out.
Well, full for fault there. But we'll get back into that later on in the show when we talk about the window. But before we sort of speak about the transfer window, there's a few things we've got to look at right now, which is our teams of the game week, which I've been looking forward to. As Hots has said, why am I guessing for? But, let's have a look, shall we? Let's see how we all done. So funny, my friend. Okay.
Are you getting to your team or what?
So yeah, look. I mean, honestly, all jokes aside, it was a weird week for me. I kind of went hardcore, to coin the phrase myself, and went -8. The temptation was to sort of do a wildcard, but like I said last game week, I just didn't think it was the right time to really bust a wildcard, considering that there was still transfers happening. And I'm targeting sort of that game week 7 sort of period and doing my wildcard then. So I'm trying to kind of coast through till then. But I've got to be honest with you, I've said before when I was speaking about Villa, I am very worried about some of the assets. So as much as I want to try and hold out, there could be a World Cup coming soon. But yeah, my team, I mean, I won't go through every single player. I mean, Sanchez has been a solid player for me. He's got me some clean sheets, so that's been really great. Thankfully, I put Diop in my team, and he came through for me. And I actually think he's going to be a very good asset going forward. Not just in terms of, obviously he got the clean sheet, but he's so attacking. And I think that he's one of those players that, if West Ham do keep clean sheets, he's going to get those double-figure points because he does get defensive returns as well. So very pleased with that pick. Fernandes, my only regret with Fernandes is really that I didn't captain him. I was debating between him and Chris Wood, even to the very, very last minute, and I went with Wood in the end, which didn't go well for me. But Fernandes done what he's supposed to do, albeit in the last minute of the game. Yeah, but Reinders, he's worrying me, I've got to be honest. He hasn't looked good since game week 1. But yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is projecting forward to the next game week where my team sits. I might make a few changes. I might even go -4. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I'm going to wait for a week or so and see how it all pans out. But I'm not particularly happy with my team. But
you're moving hardcore. I'll give you that. I like the fact that you did the -8. I like it. People always think when I do it, it's like, but it goes to show you did it and you got the most points this week. Nevertheless, so it's like, sometimes you've got to take the risk and it pays off.
Well, how I look at it is this, right? I had Saka on my team and I brought in Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes covered Saka, right? So had I just played it safe and put Saka on my bench and maybe would have played a Verts or whatever, I probably would have been at the same points anyway. So I think that the -8 was vindicated in some ways. But unfortunately, my team as a whole is not performing, and that's letting me down. But yeah, look, it was an okay week. In terms of how I feel about after 3 game weeks where I sit, I think it's probably just about average for me. It was not been terrible, it's not been great, but I always feel with fantasy football, it's about just ensuring that you don't lose. Okay, you got to stay in the mix and stay in touch, and don't put yourself out of the race. And I think I'm just in a decent position going forward, but I can't afford to have too many more bad weeks and lose touch. Look at Arc's team. Talk us through your team, big man.
It's a shower of the proverbial, really. So yeah, it was decent to get some points from Vicario, even though they conceded. Error on my part around Juff, but for obvious reasons from what I said last week, difficult for me to go with a West Ham player when they were playing the way that they were. Obviously the rest of the defence. This game obviously teaches you sometimes that trying to be logical can be the biggest flaw whatsoever that you go behind. And then there were a few moves that I went with that were heart over logic, I guess. So for instance, I brought in a couple of Arsenal guys. I know the fixtures are not great, but the 2 that I brought in are players that are going to have to play. There is no alternative to them as it stands at the moment. So I hope that when there is upside, those 2 will be involved. We've already touched on Watkins being a bit of a problem, and that's an area that I'm going to need to think about. I'm not necessarily concerned about Reindeers because, he's a 5.5 million player. He's not at that price point going to rock the world. It's just that the way he started, clearly we know that he's got it in him to give us some good upside. So you worry when you don't get it.
Is there any temptation, I'm saying this because I've got him too, to pivot to like an Anderson who's had 11 defensive returns in all his 3 games, or a Rice who's
but still no DEFCON.
No, but it's going to come, right? He's 1 DEFCON away from getting those points. He's got 11 for 3 games in a row. So,
but they've brought in Lewis now, right?
Yeah,
I'm in agreement with you, right? I think that it's possible to start looking at these slots to pivot. The issue that I've got is the one that all managers have. It's about if you are juggling, It's how can you juggle around to make sure that the prices all fit. So, for instance, if I'm going to move from reindeers and go to a rice, it means that I'm going to have to juggle someone else as well. And at the moment, like, being honest with you, like, data isn't my friend at the moment because it's all over the place for the first 3 game weeks. Nothing really showing me that, yeah, this is the direction we should be going in. And then you got the frustration of looking at your bench and seeing over 20 points on it. Like, it's just been one of those game weeks, to be honest.
And the man who finished bottom.
Oof.
Oh, facts, isn't it, really? But talk to us, Hots.
Yeah. Like,
Doubled down.
That's really good. I went for the wild card, so I didn't. Something told me Nottingham Forest, even though I thought they would beat Liverpool, they would beat West Ham. Sorry. I went Captain Wood, didn't work out. I got rid of one of my Nottingham Forest defenders. Brought in Muniz, who's on my bench, got me a 9. I'm happy with my wild card overall for some of the players I brought in, but there's been an interesting transfer window that's making me.
Your bench is disgusting. But go and carry on.
I can tell you, because if you look at my bench, my 2 highest scoring players are the 2 I brought in. It's the Wood captaincy that let me down mainly. With me, I always think your captain, needs to do something, and he didn't. So I knew from then that it was going to be one of those weeks. And Eze not starting and not coming on till late, I could have put so many different players in and I chose him. So it is what it is. I just hope he starts the next game because there's no real reason why Eze shouldn't be starting for Arsenal. But no, there's not much for me to talk about in my team, really. Pedro did okay, Sanchez did okay, and my players that I brought in that were at the bench did okay. But, I've got a decent team for the next game week, but I still have it in me to do moves immediately after a wild card because I can't help myself. But yeah, it's too early to talk about that, and I'm not going to get into that now. But yeah, overall, disappointing game week for me. Obviously, you managed to get onto the leaderboard, so we've all got 1 game week each. So it's going to be interesting to see who gets the next one. But
how you feeling about like your start to the season?
So I'm different from you, to be honest. I'm not content with my start to the season. Like the first 2 games, I got 60 points, which is a decent average. But in this one, it's dropped down to 39, so I'll call it 40, just below 40. And that consistency's dropped off now, has annoyed me. So where I want to potentially consider minuses next week, I need to go back towards the 60s to be happy with next game week. So I'm not content with how my season started. But to be honest, I think the games have been all over the place. Like, Spurs are looking good. Defeat. City started off good. Defeat. Villa looked bad. Nottingham Forest, West Ham looked bad. It's just all over the place. So like Arc said, it's early. And I think it's not going to just dramatically change in game week 4. So I'm not going to be too hasty in the first, maybe game week 4. But, after the international breaks are coming to an end and we get closer, I'll worry about it then. So for now, I'm just enjoying the time off, not even thinking about nothing.
So, I mean, we spoke before, I touched on it before we came into this section. The big thing, obviously, this week was the window closing, right? So we now know, obviously, everyone's team's set. We now know who's got who. Before I go into sort of, the window, who would you say won the window?
I suppose it depends on what aspect you're looking at it from. In terms of if a club has got the players that they require, then I think it's debatable. In terms of impact and the hype that goes around it, I guess you can't look any further than Liverpool. But I think a good few teams have done fairly well, so Arsenal included. Chelsea have done their thing as well. Sunderland have. I think, and we can see the fruits of what Sunderland have done, because I didn't expect them to win 2 of the first 3 games, and they have, which gives you a good foundation. Them having Xhaka there is a really good thing as well, because we know he has heart and we know he will push through. I think, for instance, even looking at the graphic that we've got there at the moment, the new City keeper, he just worries me in that I don't know, it's like a real move away from where Pep thrives and what he does. So I'll be interested to see what happens. That said, you know what will happen. We've got them in like a couple of weeks' time. He will have a worldie against us. It's just the way,
Do you
right?
know what's funny? I watched the BBC clip they got on their site right now, and it was a farewell video from Edison, and in it has, check it out for people watching this. It had like all these assists that he's had during his time. This guy's got bare assists, like those long balls over the
Donnarumma?
top. Edison. So I'm
yeah,
that because
yeah.
obviously. I mentioned that because you know I was surprised at how many assists that he has done over the years, like 10, 12 assists for a keeper is crazy. So I mean that's been a big part of what's made them successful is his ability to almost be a quarterback, right, so to speak.
Yep.
So it'd be interesting to sort of see. I mean, Donnarumma is a world class keeper. Let's not be you know silly about it. He's a huge. You don't rate him. Okay,
No,
well,
he's just tall.
Donnarumma is a huge. Well, if we go back to the Arsenal PSG semi-final, for me, he was the reason why we didn't get a good result in both legs, particularly the second leg in the first 20 minutes when we put it on them corners. He made some great saves. So, I mean,
You'd expect that. He's about 20 foot high.
But yeah, that's a big thing, right? His size. I mean, looking back in like Peter Schmeichel, for example, right? Peter Schmeichel, when we used to play against him, I always felt just his presence in goal, his size was just, whenever Ian Wright would go up against him, I kind of felt like he almost sort of, God, how do I get past this guy? Because he was so big. And Donnarumma has that same kind of sort of aura about him.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah, I'm looking to see what happens to him on the set pieces.
Look,
I won't sing like you,
few-
Guffs, but yes, there's a chart that is ready for him.
now look, there's a few players that wasn't on the graphics. Like Wissa, we spoke about Newcastle. They've got 2 strikers in. I like Wissa. I think he's a good player. Is he gonna now start helping Newcastle to start getting those goals in?
He does make their forward line frighteningly fast. Their forward line will be fluid. Interesting to see what the German guy will do.
Well, I saw a bit of him in the under-21s. He looked good. I think.
How old is he?
21, I think. I think
That
he's
German brother's under 20. He's under 21. Allow man. God, just carry on. That's a mad. I must have saw the wrong guy in the stands, boy. That must have been anyway. Let me just leave you there. Yeah, are you for real? That's mental.
He's a kid, man. I would say, looking at his graphic, I think that Arsenal got to do a better job in selling players, man. I mean, 9 million is just a joke, really. When I asked a question before about who won the window, just for their ability to sell players, I think it has to be probably Liverpool, just about, right? Because there are 2 sides to the coin. Yes, Arsenal have brought in some fantastic assets to the team and have improved areas that were weak, but we're still struggling to kind of get guys out the door. So, hopefully Berta can improve it going forward, but it's certainly an area that's going to bite us going forward if we still struggle to kind of sell players for market value.
I don't know. I suppose I look at the window different. For me, it's just about what you can get. I do accept and understand that you have to take into account the outgoings and so on. That gives you a full rounded recruitment process. But as you've seen, is funny to me. So we've gone from us always being in net spend positive, like, to this scenario, like no hiding place now, I guess.
I just think we need to get some better value for our sell-ons. I'm not saying we've never sold any players for a decent price, but like it was like,
to be fair, we haven't.
End of the transfer window. There's been a few, but you're right. But like, we got to the end of the transfer window, and it was almost like, okay, we'll loan you. Okay, we're gonna give us that. I'm not saying it was panic, but it was just like we just wanted players out, and it was like, you know, that tactic of we'll just go for him in the last minute and get him for the bargaining tool, and I think that's what happened a lot.
It's funny looking at some of the names that we've got on the list. For instance, Man City. I remember when they started their purchases, like during that small window before the World Championship or whatever not. I remember so many people losing their mind about how different people are. Oh my gosh, you know, they're making moves. They're active. You know who you are. Like, and when you now look at what they did for the transfer window, it's nothing to write home about. Like, sometimes with the transfer window, patience is a virtue.
I hear what you're saying. I just think that they recruited in the wrong areas of the pitch. I think Man City, to me, I don't worry about them being able to sort of create or score goals. Their issue last year was they were getting opened up like a tin of sardines, and they haven't addressed that, right? He's bought.
But I guess they think Rodri's back, so that will sort it out. That's, I imagine, what the belief is.
Will it though? That's the question, and that's what we'll find out.
Do you
think as long as they flank him with two centre backs like they normally do, then he'll look good, and everybody will say he's world class and needs a Ballon d'Or again.
Do you think that the fact that Gahey didn't get over the line, do you think that might prove to be? We'll look back on that. I think that was the reason why Liverpool didn't win back-to-back titles, because, you know, they let go of the youngster Kwanzaa, right? And Gomez is, you know, just coming from injury. They've essentially only really got two properly fit centre-backs right now. And Kanati came in off the pitch against us with a little niggle.
They bought the Italian boy.
And as you've alluded to, obviously, Hots, you know, you think Van Dijk is fading.
But look, this is what my point is, yeah? Liverpool haven't looked good defensively in 3 games. But how much points are they on?
Yeah,
and that's what champions do. And that's what champions do. That's why I was so pissed that we dropped points. If we had drawn with them dead 0-0, at least we would have just been on the same points as them. But, like, you know, we've got a hope now that they...
But do you think...
I don't know. Because looking at their defence, for me, they've still got the quality to get goals. And they've just signed who a lot of people wanted to come to Arsenal, right? So it's like, they're going to get goals even more now, right? So do they care if they concede? If they're just going to outscore you? So, you know, they've got to be seen as strong title contenders. And people are going to be looking at them as favourites right now. So their defence is, if they didn't get him, then it may have made a difference in the sense of, okay, you know, they're relying on, but they're not relying, they've got 2 good strikers in the team now. You know, they've got an aging Salah, but he's still Salah. They've got Gakpo, who's been doing well for the start of the season and the end of last season. I like Gakpo, to be fair. I was a bit jealous when I saw him in Arc's team because it's a player that I considered as a good value. But, you know, I don't know how they're going to rotate, how they're going to play. But what I do know is they score goals. So if their defence is a bit weakened by not getting the brother from Palace, then is it going to matter to them? Because their defence has been weak so far, and it hasn't mattered.
Where do you sit, Arc? Do you agree with that?
I think the idea of their defence being weak has been overhyped. Because at the end of the day, we're at the start of the season. It's just off the back of pre-season. It takes a while for big clubs to get back into swing of things. I also think as well, like the Italian guy that they've got, I think his surname's Leone or something along those lines. Like he's the young kid, but the big boy that put Romelu down. Like I think that he's one to watch, and I think that they will have backup where they need to have backup, and we'll see how it goes. Like, and who knows, they might put another midfielder in their defence.
Maybe. So I guess it's that time really where we have a look at the league table. And
it's the time where I just hang my head in shame.
Yeah, maybe you should go and have a little coffee break. You know.
I just might do that.
Just chill when it's done. You know what I mean?
You're winking again. Stop that. So is our man Accidental Chip still at the top?
At the top.
Okay.
He's still there. He's still there. Had a shocking game week though, didn't you, Gunner? You mean 39 points? You did hots.
And again, he's still above you, just like me.
Do you know what though? His team total is interesting. So he's got 209. I think the number one in the world at the moment is on 272. And he's had the same kind of strategy. He's bench boosted.
He put shout out to Dawnbreaker. We had a good game week. Let's have a look at his team. The crew. That's that guy that I want in my team.
Is he the one with the most points of the week?
So I mean, he went for Haaland as captain. The crew, very good pickup there. The crew, you know, with his defensive DEFCON stats in every game so far. So very, very good pickup there. Looking further down the league, I think he was the highest point scorer, 75. I haven't seen anyone higher than that. If we go to the other end of the table,
so
two peak for you. I mean,
got the same points as you.
Let's have a look at your team. Kelleher, okay. Defense looking shaky, my brother. Looking shaky.
Look who he's got on 15 in his defense, bro.
Ooh, lucky he had him. Lucky. Bench was absolutely shocking. It's important to mention to everyone again that the actual league does close on Friday the 12th of September. So if you do want to have a chance of winning first, second or third place in our league, please join before that deadline and ensure you subscribe as well and stay subscribed to give yourself a chance to win that prize. So again, the league does close. It's going to be a hard close on September the 12th, which is basically the Friday before the next game week, a week on Friday. So sign up. It's free of charge. And yeah,
it's cash
see
prizes, isn't it?
Let's see if you can handle
people.
the league.
If you're going to be in the league anyway, sub and have the potential of winning the cash. It just makes sense. Just do it. It's not only are you supporting us, but you're supporting yourself if you come in the top three because you didn't have to pay to enter, and it's cash for the top three. You know it makes sense.
Also, I want to mention that we now are on other platforms such as Spotify and Apple Music. So, you know, if you're like me, you like to listen to a podcast on the train on your way to work, we're now on those platforms too. So please enjoy us. It might sound a bit great in listening to Hots' voice, but, you know, it is what it is, right?
It's probably better than looking at your face for them. So,
I mean, you did walk into that.
Yeah, I did. I did, to be fair. I did. Why is his face always me mugging?
What do you want me to do? Just be like cheesy grins like you?
This man's just always just...
A mean mugging? Are you from the US, bro?
No, what's that, bro? Like, I mean, do you mean? What happened to you, man?
I'm
looking stressed, G.
How can I be looking stressed? Like, if we're 3 game weeks in, we're all got 1 game week each, so we're just there. I'm currently above us. I've had a poor game week. It's the international break, man. It's dead. I like it. I just like the league. I like the Prem. Like, you don't.
What happened to you there, my friend? Did you just have some smelling salts under your nose or something?
I had a little
Just shake up himself. Somebody walked over your
What
grave.
are you doing, innit? Like, I tried to allow it, but since you brought it to light, I was just gonna allow it because this is the thing. I didn't fair things blind, but like, I saw that as well. I was thinking, but cool, no? But yeah, no, I'm cool. I just, it's boring. I don't care about the international break. I don't really watch other leagues anymore. I only watch the Prem. So when it gets to these stages, I just can't wait for the Prem to be back.
Boy, I agree with that, but I need to go to the mountains and hibernate in the lab and try to sort myself out. I'm stuck in the mud right now, so we need to make that
Put it
work.
this way: doing a wild card and then getting bottom isn't the best feeling either, especially with Guffs being the one to get the most points because you don't gas like this guy gasses. So I knew it was gonna come.
I don't
You know
gas.
what I said? I ain't finished.
I don't
and
guess.
I knew it was gonna come, and it was like, well done, you got it. We're all on one now. It's one apiece. It's gonna be interesting for the next one.
I don't
But we'll be
guess.
back. We'll be back before the next actual game week. So, I think.
Yeah, we
where
need
it
to
was the
focus
week
on
that
some
fell.
strategy.
Yeah. So where it was the week that fell with the international break, I guess it's only right that you just open it again because it's the same game week. So. You'll get
Yeah, I mean, to people watching the show, we're going to be back next week, Friday, as always, and we'll sort of probably lead into the up and coming game week coming up, and try and digest, I guess, some of the transfers that have been made so far and how it's going to affect teams going forward. I always feel the international break is a period where a lot of activity happens in FPL, buying and selling. So there's probably a lot of people like me who are looking at: do I play a wild card? Do I play a chip? Do I make some big moves? So,
I wouldn't be surprised if your wildcard's already active if you was going to do it. But
if you like me,
carry
and you
on
think
this.
about these things, do tune in and to sort of see Arc's guide. In terms of the strategy,
Mr. Stato.
he could do some strategy for his own team. To be fair, but we'll let him slide. You know what I mean?
So
what's the most-
hilarious. He's about 2 points ahead. I'm not even sure what he's did.
Like
This
ironic.
gasoline
most important
showboating,
thing
but it
is-
is what it is.
Look, the most important thing is that you guys support, like, subscribe. Our details are on the screen, and yeah, we said every Friday will be available there. Fresh material, so.
Did you ask permission to close the show?
So, I didn't really look at it as the host opens. Remember, I'm being clear about it, and it's not about
fair
closing.
play.
He can actually say something after, and you're right. He gets sensitive and emotional. So let's
Not at all.
let it just be a case.
Listen,
that
to all
if
the
you want to say anything
people
further-
watching, please support Hot's GoFundMe page for a towel.
Oh,
It's much needed.
I don't know why he's got the same dry jokes, same driest jokes. Like, you've been so close to the mic, and the way the grease is coming out of those curls, it's mental.
Listen,
You get it? It's mental.
listen.
And you didn't shave this week. You didn't do the fresh trim
Listen,
ups
my
that you did
friend.
last week.
Stop hating on the curls.
I don't hate nothing.
Listen,
Bro. I said to you, remember this. I said to you in game week.
Wayne Rooney has some tips about hair growth.
Looking stressed, yeah. I said
could
you're
have some
looking
curls too.
stressed with your greys, and he came back with a freshest shave on the day. Like, it got to him when I said he's looking great, like he's looking stressed. Next game week, he was just like freshly shaved, looking at the block. You get me? The Black Bart Simpson. You get me? That's what you look like. You get me? What's happened to that? I thought you would have kept it up.
Listen, man, I gotta look good for TV
the who?
now, innit? You know what I mean? Like, it is what it is. Do you know what I mean?
Boy. Listen, I don't care who opened the show.
This is going
Let's end the show. Don't get me. Allow all of that. Forget what he just said, people. We're out, man. We're out. We'll be back next year. Like, support, subscribe, like, all of that. And yeah, we'll be back.
Yeah.
Truth be told, when I wonder what the future